Parents, what's a promise you kept that made everyone mad? When my son was 8, he begged me for a dog. Every single day. I was exhausted. Single mom, 2 jobs, just trying to stay afloat. I didn't have the time, energy, or money to entertain the idea. One night, half joking and fully fed up, I snapped and said, "Fine, if you can save up $500 to cover the first year of expenses, I'll get you a dog." I figured he'd forget about it in a week. He didn't. This kid got to work immediately. Started collecting soda cans from neighbors' recycling bins. Sold his Pokemon cards. Did every odd chore he could find for $1 here, $2 there. Every few weeks, he'd dump his piggy bank on my bed and count his money out loud. 47s, $52, 63. At first, I thought it was cute. He'd wake up early on weekends to search the park for bottles. Made flyers asking if neighbors had any small jobs. I started to feel a little guilty. Other kids were spending their allowances on candy and video games. My son was saving every single penny. "Honey," I said once, "you sure you don't want to spend a little? Maybe buy yourself a cool toy?" He shook his head. "I want a dog more than anything, Mom." His dedication was next level. At the school book fair, while other kids were excitedly buying new books, he just walked around with his hands in his pockets. When Halloween came, instead of using his allowance on candy, he trick-or-treated and then sold half of his candy at school the next week. By winter, he had $287. Started going to the library and researching breeds. He'd show me printouts of dogs that were apartment-friendly, low-shedding, calm. "Look, Mom, this one doesn't bark much." When spring hit, he had $398. Then came the garage sale. He sold half his toys, action figures he loved, his old bike, even clothes that still fit him. Kids at school called him weird for never buying anything fun. He didn't care. When his birthday came, he asked Grandma for money instead of gifts. When she still gave him toys, he politely asked if she had the receipts. It wasn't just about the dog anymore. You could see it in his eyes. This was his mission. Every Tuesday and Thursday, he'd walk Mrs. Johnson's poodle. On weekends, the Millers paid him to take their golden retriever around the block. He kept a notebook, logging every dollar. Drew little cartoon dogs next to his savings milestones. By the time he turned 10, it had been nearly 2 years. Other parents started asking how I kept him so motivated. I didn't have an answer. Honestly, I was starting to worry. But then I'd see him lying in bed at night, whispering dog names to himself, rehearsing training commands, petting a stuffed animal like practice, and I knew. This wasn't just about a pet, it was about proving he could do something hard, something grown up, something real. And then one day, 2 full years later, he came bursting into my room holding a mason jar stuffed with bills and coins. "Mom, I did it! I counted it 3 times! $500. My heart dropped. That same week, we'd just been evicted. I'd lost one of my jobs. We were living in my sister's basement. Everything felt like it was falling apart. The last thing we could afford was a dog. But I looked at his face, pure joy, glowing pride, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't crush that. So that weekend, we went to the shelter. He picked out a small mutt named Buster. Scrawny little